UFC janglarini tomosha qilib daromad topishni xohlaysizmi? Endi bu juda oson. Omad silkasi orqali ro'yxatdan o'ting va promokodga Vodiy so'zini kiriting. Shundan so'ng Telegramdagi menejerga yozing, u sizga hisobingizni real pullarga to'ldirib beradi. Omad silkasi va barcha to'liq ma'lumotlarni Telegramdagi Vodiy MMA kanalimizda yozilgan.
Instructions in the dressing room. I want you to protect yourself at all times. Above all, obey my commands at all times. First command is right now. Touch gloves. When the bell rings, box. Good luck.
So Nurmatov in right, ready to go on April the 10th at Sony Hall. And Nurmatov in the white trunks with the blue, red, and green trim. The colors of his new native Uzbekistan. Walter Wright in the black trunks. Weighed in at 154. Nurmatov coming in at 152.
You know, it wasn't that long ago and not that far from here that Walter Wright upset another southpaw undefeated prospect in Mark DeLuca.
Walter Wright is a veteran. He has skills, and every now and then you see flashes of it. But the problem with him is, as he has gotten older, he has become a little lazy in the ring. So you can outwork him. And that's a problem that he has.
Well, Nurmatov got his attention early on here in round number one.
And I think, Brian, that is the key for Walter Wright. You know, when he upset DeLuca, when you see Walter Wright winning fights now, it's because he kind of spoils and slows the fight down and kind of confuses his opponent. And if Nurmatov can just stay busy, he won't let him get into that mode.
Right. But Nurmatov, as a European boxer, most European guys, especially with an extensive amateur career as Nurmatov, they fight long, so they range. They know how to stay on the outside.
Well, he's a righty, but fights southpaw. A tall, rangy welterweight at 6'2". Super welterweight, beg your pardon. Almost lost his footing.
Yeah, that was a balance shot there. And Nurmatov is moving mostly to his right. Looking to throw that right hook. So Wright should step over to his left. Just keep stepping to his left. Even if he don't throw punches, just keep stepping. Get Nurmatov in the habit of moving to his left. And then when you get him moving to his left, you can land those right hands. But Wright should just continue stepping over to his left. Sometimes you can make a guy position himself the way you want without even throwing punches.
That's why I think this is a good style matchup for Nurmatov at this point in his career, to see this kind of crafty old veteran type style.
But I like Nurmatov in terms of being a rangy, lanky boxer. He stays relaxed, never gets out of character.
Round one coming to a close.
He alluded to it, though. He said Alicia beat him. He alluded to it.
Yeah,
because she dominated.
There's no
men.
ambiguity there.
Right, right. She dominated.
Round two between Nurmatov and Wright. You know, that last fight that Horsebek Nurmatov had against Calvin Metcalf, that kind of provided good experience because Metcalf kept coming at Nurmatov. Nurmatov was kind of forced to fight inside with Metcalf for much of that fight.
That was at the Sony Hall in Times Square.
Good left from Wright. Climbing the ladder against the 6'2" Nurmatov.
Calvin Metcalf also had the Hulk Hogan haircut. Remember that one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Clipping the chin with that left-handed Nurmatov.
Yeah, Wright should not negate the jab. Wright is just walking in, and Nurmatov is obliged to hit him as he walks in. Nice straight right hand by Wright.
In the case of Wright, you just wonder what he could have been if everything had gone right in his career. He's a guy who was in the finals of the U.S. Nationals back in 2001, but as you alluded to, Justin, two separate 3-year layoffs during his pro career, and that just does so much damage to a fighter in their development.
He stopped competing after his loss to the former champ Peter Manfredo Jr. back in March of 2013. And before that, there were 2 periods of 3 years each in which Wright did not compete.
I'm pretty sure he took that Manfredo fight off a 3-year layoff as well, so not doing himself any favors.
And layoffs even hurt you mentally, so it's hard to have a layoff, 2-3 year layoff, and come back and still feel sharp and like you're the man.
He put together a 90-12 amateur career, 4 straight Tacoma Golden Glove titles. There was a period earlier this decade where he was returning to the ring after a 5-year layoff. Here he's working against Normatov.
What is going at, the fight is going as built the way I thought would. Wright just not really applying enough offense to disrupt Normatov.
And this has sort of been the knock on Normatov, is that at times, not that he's going through the motions, but that
he fights to his level.
Right, and he's going to do what he wants to do, and he's not really going to adapt or change anything.
Final seconds here in the round.
On 12 Nyu-Yorkning Madison Square Garden sport arenasi UFCning yana bir super turniriga mezbonlik qiladi. Turnirning asosiy kardida UFCning afsonaviy jangchisi Jon Jons og'ir vazn bo'yicha kamar uchun Stipe Miocichga qarshi oktagonga ko'tariladi. Undan tashqari co-main jangida Alex Pereira yarim og'ir vazn toifasida Erji Proxaskaga qarshi jang qiladi. UFC janglardan pul ishlab olishingiz uchun kommentariyada omad silkasini qoldiraman. Saytga o'tib ro'yxatdan o'ting. Ro'yxatdan o'tayotganda promokodga Vodiy MMA so'zini kiriting va kafolatlangan bonuslarga ega bo'lasiz.
With working the jab, what is preventing him from staying consistent? When you take a look at where he's at, a rising prospect in the super welterweight division, and like you were mentioning, kind of just seems to stay with his game plan, but you see him work the jab and then lay off a little bit.
Well, a couple of things that contribute to that. A, training. So you're going to do fight night with your training. If they're not imploring jab, jab, jab in the gym, you're not really going to bring that to the table the night of the fight. In Europe, they implore jab, jab, jab. You got to throw 4 or 5 jabs before you're able to throw your power hand. So that could be the reason. I know Gary Stark Sr. and Andre Rozier, they're offensive trainers, which is nothing wrong with that because Emmanuel Stewart was an offensive trainer. But sometimes you got to know who you're working with. Emmanuel didn't tell or get Vladimir Klitschko to stop jabbing. So it comes down to knowing who your pupil is and your boxer listening to the corner.
I also think, Brian, for guys like Normatov who have really, really long, extensive amateur backgrounds, sometimes you fought so much that you can't change too much. And you sort of see a bit of that amateur style in Normatov. He kind of gets his shots in, he steps out, resets again, and he scores his points and then steps all the way out. And we're not nothing flows in the way that it should for Normatov.
Andre Rozier, Gary Stark Sr. in the corner for Normatov. Actually, Dan Canobio overhearing in between rounds the guidance from those two gentlemen.
How, yes, he has that amateur background. Wants him to put his punches together more. That's what Rozier is saying. You're seeing it right now, and it all starts with the jab. Rozier was wanted me to tell me that he has to use the jab more, and then he'll score with both hands. Back to you guys.
Well, that answers what I said in terms of your training. So obviously the corner is employing you to jab, and to your credit, Corey, Normatov is not the jabber. He's just a guy scoring points, whether it's just 1-2, 1-2s. He's not a consistent jabber.
Is that a matter of a guy trying to break the mold from that outlook on European fighters?
Yeah, that could be. Because sometimes you see Normatov, he stands on the inside, he tries to fight. That almost goes against the rule of European fighters.
A close range left from Normatov.
You know, other guys from that Uzbek program are progressing a lot faster than Normatov is. Guys like Akhmadaliev and Shakram Giasov, and they fight in a different style. They're hyper-aggressive. They're banging away on the inside. They're throwing to the body. So it's not necessarily where you come from. It's just, can you adapt your style to the pro game?
Well, this round coming to a close here at the Fox Theater. More combinations from Normatov in round number 3. We'll see if he can continue piecing those punches together here at the start of round 4. Urshibek Normatov looking to stay undefeated and improve his prospect status here. And come away with a little hardware. The vacant WBA, NABA, USA Super Welterweight title on the line.
And I know a lot of boxers, and I understand it.
Well, that
a
body
lot of
shot
action there.
pushing Walter Wright back a little bit.
As I was saying, I know a lot of boxers and the business of it, get belts. But sometimes when you get these regional titles, you're forced to do step-ups every
Right.
fight on. So if a guy's not ready for those major step-ups, the belt should not be forced upon him.
Yeah, because once you enter the top 15, let's say,
You're there.
you know, then you have to start taking risks.
That's why, listen, I'm all for belts because it gives more guys opportunities, but sometimes take your time.
Well, a good combo downstairs by Normatov. Normatov more active on his feet, winding up, going downstairs before connecting with the right hand. Another good combo left.
This is a better look for Normatov. You get the sense that he's feeling more aggressive in there. He's throwing more, he's throwing harder. It's been clipped a couple of times because he's had to take a few risks. But this is a more exciting version of Normatov for the audience.
Trying to be more aggressive has certainly been a mandate over the last year or so with Urshibek Normatov.
But you can be aggressive without taking risks. Work your jab, set everything up. Off the jab, if you see the opening, you can land those solid combinations. You can be explosive without taking risks. Case in point, Lennox Lewis. Lennox Lewis was explosive in a lot of his fights. He didn't really take a risk. He worked the jab. When he saw the right hand and left hooks, he landed those shots.
A sneaky right from right, connecting to Normatov.
Right, you're right, Brian, and you can move forward and not, you know,
Be in
taking
danger.
punches.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right tripping, now into the corner.
The great Pernell Whitaker was an expert at that. You know, a friend of mine and R.I.P. Pete. But Pete used to move forward, and you couldn't hit him.
Yeah, he'd be walking you down, and you
Yeah,
couldn't do
right,
anything
walking
about
up.
it. Yeah.
He literally walked you down.
Normatov getting final words from his corner before the start of round number 5.
We talked about this earlier in the fight as well, and about Walter Wright. Walter Wright's got 38-year-old legs as well. He thrives when he can slow that pace down. Don't let him. You know, force him to work at a pace that he's not comfortable
Yeah,
with.
he's going to fight in spots. He want to fight in spots.
Going for his first win in 14 months.
See, Normatov, you can tell he's not comfortable with throwing just one shot.
He has looked much sharper when multiplying those punches, coming with combos like he did right there.
And he's sitting down a little bit more in his shots.
He's also putting combinations together more. You know, you're right. he always throws in combination, but then there just seems to be a pause before he can start again. And now he's, throwing multiple three-punch combinations.
But one thing he has abandoned is the jab. But as you said earlier, the corner's imploring him to throw the jab. He's just not a jabber. But we've seen him in the past, work the jab more.
And sometimes tall fighters, you want them to jab, but they're not jabbers. Paul Williams could have jabbed everyone, but he didn't jab.
Pulled the 200 punches around.
Walter Wright having a tough time cutting off the ring with Nurmatov.
Nice right hook, but one punch. There he should have stepped back and threw the straight left hand. He just turned right around, positioned him on the ropes, but he did nothing.
Well, the uppercut was there. Good shot to the body, met with a counter right from Wright.
See, Wright's the veteran. He's going to look to counter punch, so you can't give him opportunities.
A wind-up left followed by a pair of three-punch combos. Wright saying, yeah, let's go, I want more.
And this is the pro inexperience of Nurmatov. Nurmatov is trying to fight him back because he's saying, come on, let's fight.
Also, a questionable move from a veteran such as Wright, acknowledging that all those punches landed. Round number 5 coming to a close, and Mash Nantucket Urchibek Nurmatov greeting Walter Wright with some words before the start of round number 6. He reaches in for a shot to the body. Nurmatov trying to improve to 4-0 here at Foxwoods.
It'll be interesting as Nurmatov continues to climb the ladder, when he gets in there with someone who forces him to fight when he doesn't want to, who forces him out of this pace that he's obviously very comfortable in. Because Nurmatov can clearly outbox guys at this level forever and ever, but what happens when someone makes him fight, at double speed? Can he hang then?
How far away do you think a test like that is in the future for Urchibek Nurmatov?
Well, it's going to be sooner than later he wins his regional title. And that's what I was trying to mention last round. You're forcing guys to progress faster than they should.
Here Nurmatov's corner imploring him again to use the jab. We saw it earlier.
At the same time, Brian, maybe forcing that step to happen isn't the worst thing in the world for a guy who had as many amateur fights as he did. He's 27 years old. At a certain point, you do want to just take that step and see, what do we have here? What do we have in Nurmatov?
No, you're absolutely right. But again, I'm old school. So 8, 10, 12 fights, you shouldn't be fighting for a world title.
Right.
Again, I'm old school. So you're forcing guys. That's what I mean by you're forcing guys to progress. Not every guy can do that. Yeah, some guys probably can do it, but not every guy. In today's boxing scene, every guy wants to jump and run as opposed to walking.
Wright just eating a blistering right hand from Nurmatov moments ago.
Because let's just say this is the regional WBA title. The champion, the WBA champ right now.
Julian Williams.
Julian Williams,
yeah.
Right. Suppose he has an optional defense that they're granting him. And he looks down the line and say, you know what? Let me take this kid. I'll fight him. And most guys have in their mind, oh, I can fight for a world title. My mindset when I was boxing, I wanted to be in a position to win a world title, not to fight for a world title. I think today boxers are just getting in position to fight for a world title.
Nurmatov continues to land with single punches. Not doing damage with right, but effectively landing.
Well, both guys are laughing in there. They're having a good time.
We're through 6 here in Mashantucket.
The last round was, I think, a takeoff round by Nurmatov. He started out there, nice right hook, but then the pace sort of slowed and he got more mobile, and it appears that he lost some focus.
First 8-round fight in the pro career for Hersheybeck Nurmatov. We are in round 7 between he and Walter Wright.
And Wright just missed a counter right hand. As I said, from time to time, you see flashes of Wright's ability.
Wright's definitely a guy who knows how to stay out of trouble. Again, he's an old vet. He knows those tricks. He hasn't really been hurt in this fight. He was kind of buzzed in the first round.
And he hasn't really taken any punishment.
Nurmatov circling around, back to the middle. Hasn't been as aggressive. And as you say that, here comes a big winding left.
Yeah, good body shot there from Nurmatov.
That left scraping the top of Wright's head.
Nurmatov's corner telling him to jab.
Yeah, as opposed to just moving around the ring without jabbing.
Well, and when Nurmatov does jab, it's kind of, it's a jab as a means of resetting. It's not really a jab that's meant to land very often.
Yeah, just a bother me type jab.
Right.
Nurmatov has continued to show that he will not be slowed down and cut off by the 38-year-old Wright.
And he has Wright following him. So Nurmatov should really concentrate more on that straight left hand, right hook, because Wright is coming right at him.
Now, if they could turn Nurmatov into a jabber, he could be a real nightmare.
Yeah.
If they can make that happen.
Because guys will get so frustrated with their trying to get away from that jab, they're going to open themselves up for everything else.
Right.
Final seconds of round 7. There's one of the first combos.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, time once again.
Johnny Callis bringing these two fighters to the center of the ring.
They touch gloves again?
Just to make you happy, Brian.
Yeah, that's my pet peeve.
Start of round number 8. The 27-year-old Hersheybeck Nurmatov looking to improve to 9-0.
Well, right inside the last round, what the hell? Let me try southpaw.
Walter Wright has taken the O from 5 different opponents in his career.
Well, tonight won't be 6. Unless he could do something miraculous.
There are definitely other prospects and, you know, guys that want to be contenders that Walter Wright could give some trouble to. This just isn't the right style matchup for him.
He could deliver teaching moments to some of those prospects.
I'm going to play devil's advocate here. If he can give any prospect trouble, then not a prospect.
Well, I think that's the point, right?
That's what you find out.
He will reveal whether they are or not.
Yeah.
But in boxing, you're a prospect until proven otherwise.
Right. That's true. Besides, all somebody got to do is say they won 10 national titles, and then they're a prospect.
That's right.
Nurmatov moving around as much as he's talking here in the middle of the ring in round 8.
And again, I know I alluded to my dear friend, rest in peace, Pernell Whitaker. But Whitaker is a perfect example of boxers. Because box, if you're a boxer, box. Don't try to change your style to please other people. Master your style. Pernell Whitaker didn't try to turn into a flat-footed puncher because people said, oh, he's a boring boxer. I think Nurmatov is an excellent boxer. Made some mistakes tonight by trying to punch and trying to do too much. Master your styles. Nothing wrong with that. Chris Bird, another guy. Mastered their style. They did what they did well. They didn't worry about trying to change.
30 seconds to go in the final round here in Mashantucket. Nurmatov shuffling the feet and coming in.
Looking at the time, so you can tell the 8 rounds is getting to him somewhat.
Holding on over these final 10 seconds. And he passes the first 8-round test of his...
Still undefeated and the new WBA, NABA, USA champion from Brooklyn and on Dijon, Uzbekistan, Horsebek Nurmatov.
So Horsebek Nurmatov improving to 9-0. He goes the distance in his first 8-round fight of his pro career. A unanimous decision win over Walter Wright. And the new winner of the WBA.